Hey horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review of Reality Z. Yes, another zombie series. Can't avoid the zombies. Cast and crew information down below, and start with the IMDb plot here. A zombie apocalypse that imprisons participants and producers of a reality show called Olimpo, the House of the Gods. The studio becomes a shelter for those who seek salvation in Rio de Janeiro, where chaos and hopelessness begin to rule. Alright. So, yeah, this is a Netflix series. So, if you've been following along the video reviews, we've covered Bental, and we did Rampant and Kingdom, and there's another one I'm missing here. But I guess the theme of Netflix is zombies for whatever reason. It's popular, and apparently it's popular around the world because South Korea had a couple, and Bental was from India, I believe, and this one is from Brazil, and it's Portuguese. So right off the bat, one of the problems with this series, for me is the dubbing. Uh, it's always awkward. There's an awkwardness to it when you're watching it, but I don't know, the dialogue that I guess they translate here is just not all that fabulous. Um, it's just a lot of the same stuff, very brief. Just a lot of foul language and this and that. Nothing amazing here. Every once in a while, a character um, will pull off some decent dialogue there, but for the most part, especially when chaos is happening, there's just nothing special being said, and it's just, I don't know, it's just very weak. It's almost like they're just throwing out stupid translations just to translate. Um, but yeah, there's a couple of okay speeches here or there, interactions between the characters, but the dialogue is weird and kind of weak. I don't know, if you spoke Portuguese and, whatever they were actually saying, maybe it was a lot more, maybe more made sense, maybe more to the standard of what you expect, and maybe the translation just didn't put in a great effort, or maybe they did, and, maybe that isn't. Um, but again, that's not really the point here. The point is to see zombies, enjoy zombies, and watch them killing. And it has all of that. Um, there are a lot of zombies in this movie. Um, are we? I guess a good question here. After seeing several of these movies or series from different parts of the world, are we done with slow moving zombies? Um, a lot of these series have fast moving zombies. I guess we come from where the original zombies come from, and they're slow moving zombies. They walk. I guess we can start the whole argument here. Uh, I assume depending on your thoughts of zombies, the original zombies are the ones that come from the ground and are slow walking and so forth. But it seems like we've advanced over time where zombies can come from a disease, and lots of it starts with being bitten, and you don't have to come from the ground, and so forth. And now a lot of running zombies, and even maybe some zombies with some thought. So I guess I don't know if this is just the changing of zombies over time or what. But I guess experiencing these several different series from several different areas of the world, I guess the one big thing is that many of them run. They run and they're fast. Um, which I guess if you're a traditionalist, that might piss you off. But to me, it's okay. To me, it just makes it more frightening. In a world where they kind of walk and just roam around, that doesn't always do it all the time. It doesn't really bring the excitement. Doesn't really bring the fear of the situations when you can just kind of walk around them. And all these different series, they're fast moving zombies, and there's usually a lot of them. It's not just one or two. Usually there's large groups, so it always puts whoever the humans are, whoever the survivors are in the situations, it always puts them at risk. Which is, I think, is a good thing. It brings out more of the fear. Obviously in the typical horror thing, you know who the main character is. You know that more than likely certain characters are not going to die in certain situations. But occasionally they do. Occasionally they surprise you and a character dies. Here is kind of an interesting setup here. You have a movie studio who's shooting a reality show, so you have certain contestants that are kind of locked away from the real world. They're trapped inside this place where they call basically Olympus, and controlled by the gods. It's really a little bit of a weird setup here, or a weird show that they're showing. But I guess it's the kind of reality show where you lock some strangers together in the house, and put them under certain conditions and make them do certain things, and certain ones may fall for each other, some of them they don't like each other, and that kind of thing. But they're locked away and they're not seeing what goes on in the world. And before you know it, the zombie apocalypse has begun and descends on the studio. And I guess the studio is a little bit separate from exactly where they are. I guess there's some space. It's all in the same kind of building, but where they are, they're kind of more locked in. And then there's, I guess, the studio / control center that's controlling them. So that's basically the group that gets attacked first. Is the people behind the scenes. So I don't remember exactly I didn't really follow. I just let it run. The break in the episodes. But that's kind of where it strikes first. Is kind of following the people in the studio and what happens there. And then it kind of swings you around and brings you to the participants that are still in the reality show. And then when they kind of get exposed to the zombies and what they do. And then, the story, as it's kind of going along here, it also follows a woman who I think, I don't know, maybe they had her there and I just missed it. But a woman and her son who have some involvement in the studio, but I guess are back at home. And they kind of see what's happening. So they make their way out, and they figure the studio is a safe place to go. So they start heading towards it. And then they run into I believe the mayor or some kind of politician of this area. And he was basically going to leave them there, but they convince them that, hey, we know a safe place to go. So they jump in the car. They all head towards the studio. And they meet up with whoever's left there. And they try to make that their place to live and survive and stay. But it's basically been rampaged by zombies. So it almost becomes a thing of full circle here, where you had some participants there, they were doing the reality show, then you had some people on the outside, a lot of them familiar with the show. Apparently the show is very popular, and you have some politicians, some people involved in the show, whatever, all end up basically living where these participants were living, and basically taking their place or taking some of their place. I don't want to spoil it all. And then try to bring in people from the outside world, which becomes a little bit of a chaotic situation because, as you see with any zombie story, especially with The Walking Dead, some people are good intentioned, just looking for a place to survive and stay, and then other people have bad intentions, and there's also the power battle here. So you see a lot of that play out here. You see different kind of power battles go on here. Some people who are good fighters, bad fighters, and Um, there's some flirtation and sex involved. Not heavy on that, but there's a little bit of involvement of that, or maybe just flirtation, I guess. Um, but different kind of things going on here besides um, just the zombie thing. But the zombies here are decent looking. There's some decent scenes where they're ripping out blood and guts. They're eating. It's funny sometimes they take up close shots of some zombies when they're not attacking anybody, where they're just kind of roaming maybe in the yard or roaming around in certain places, and they're just kind of wandering around. One of the interesting things they do is also, let's say a certain person dies and becomes a zombie, they're not afraid to then show you that person in zombie form, just kind of roaming around or doing what they're doing. So that happens a lot, where you'll see someone get bit, killed, turned, and then you'll see them in zombie form, which I think is pretty cool. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes you just see people, they get bit, they get eaten, and they're gone. You never see them again. Or sometimes they get killed, and then whoever's with them puts a bullet in them or stabs them in the head, so they never really turn. But here often you see whoever gets turned as a zombie. Some last a long time as a zombie, some don't. But it's still it's interesting to see. And again, they do there's a lot of blood and guts. You see zombies chewing on things. Sometimes it may not make sense. Sometimes the zombies act maybe like they know a little more than they maybe should. But I guess it's all okay in the end. So I guess the basis of this is it worth seeing? I forgot how many episodes it was. It seemed to be a little longer than I thought it was. Maybe close to 10. Maybe just short of that. But in the neighborhood of I would say in the neighborhood of 8 to 10 episodes. And I think they kind of here it says 10. So 10 episodes. Let's get that straight. I just happened to look down. It says 10 episodes. So yeah, 10 episodes. And I think they kind of varied in length. I don't believe they were all about an hour. But lots of zombie craziness here. Again, the dubbing wasn't fabulous. There are interesting dynamic of characters. There is a maybe twist or two, like I said, with the infighting with the different characters. The way it ends, will there be more? I don't know. I don't know if the intention it was for them to do more. Like I said, they kind of do a good job of making it come full circle. If they ended it with only a season 1, or this was it, I don't know if they have intention of breaking up into seasons. Like I said, it kind of came full circle, so they kind of nicely wrapped it up. Could there be more? There certainly could be more. They left that possibility open as well. So I didn't do any digging into it, so I don't know if their intention is to do any more of this, or this was a one-time thing. So yeah, the dubbing is a little rough. But if you just enjoy another series, you want to watch another bunch of zombies go crazy, eat some people, watch some people kill some zombies, some blood and guts, it's all good in that area. But again, the dubbing was a little rough in some areas, but it depends on how in tuned you are to that. If you're really worried about story, like I said, it's not a bad story. You're just not getting great dialogue. But if you follow along with the story of events that happens, and there's little twists and turns here and there, and then how it comes around and ends is pretty nice. So with that, I'm leaning towards Three Pools of Blood. Because I like the blood, I like the guts, I like this, the kills were decent. Anything new and great there? Probably not. But I'm a blood and guts person, so it did present me with plenty of blood and guts, and some decent looking zombies. So I'm not gonna, I guess, punish him for dubbing because I don't know what the original dialogue was. Maybe it was really good, and just that the translation came out bad. I don't know, or maybe it was just all bad altogether. But I think if again you're looking for another zombie series here, if you haven't gotten enough zombies like I have, here's another one. Obviously, there's enough to enjoy here. So I'm gonna say Three Pools of Blood. I guess let's just give it the Three Pools of Blood, mostly for the blood and guts, for the pools of blood that are created here. So again, that is Reality Z on Netflix. It's a new series, about 10 episodes long. And that'll be it for this review. As always, more video reviews. Subscribe to this channel. More reviews can be found at horosgoryreviews.blogspot.com. And you can also find me on Twitter and Facebook down below. You'll find all that information. Feel free to comment whether you've seen this and you like it. Just you don't like it, you disagree. Feel free to put that in the comments. Happy to talk about this. If there's other movies you want to talk about, hit me up on social media. If there's something you want me to review, you can do that as well. I have been reviewing lots of stuff lately, written and video, and some more stuff definitely coming soon. So with that, I guess that'll be it for Reality Z, and I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.